Hey, what's up YouTube? So I haven't made a video in a while. Haven't had a lot going on to video just yet. So we did have an issue with the Pontiac G8. So to fix it, I had to actually get a new meter. I have an OBD meter and it wouldn't scan for ABS. So I hopped on Amazon and I bought this meter. It is an Innova, and it's a model number 3150RS. And these are all the things that it can do. So the biggest thing is it actually does ABS down here at the bottom, and it does SRS for the supplemental restraint system, which is the airbag system. It also does the OBD codes, so a plus for me. But the biggest thing was I needed something that did ABS codes. So this is what it looks like out of the box. And it basically plugs into the OBD port there, and you can read the code. Now, upon reading the code, I found out that I had a bad left rear wheel sensor, which is the ABS sensor. So I hopped on Amazon again and primed it in here and got a supposed to be an authentic GM ABS sensor. Now, is it authentic? I mean, it says genuine GM, and here's the part number, but it clearly says made in Korea. I don't know. Maybe it is. Hope it is. You know, we like to use genuine stuff around here. So anyway, I know Amazon's bad about kind of bait and switch. You think you're getting rich when you're not. But take it out of the box, and here it comes in a authentic looking bag. That's the sensor. Looks just like the one I'm about to change. And here's what looks like an official bag. It says GM Holden Australia, which is cool because it is a Holden model, if you didn't know that about the Pontiac G8. And that looks like an official tag and all, but again, fakes are really good these days. Long story short, we're going to put it in and hopefully it'll be fine. But this actually goes into the left rear wheel area. And I'm going to show you how to change this so he can fix an ABS problem. But instead of just throwing parts at a car without knowing what sensor's bad, you need a meter like this. It actually helps you identify where your fault's coming from. So just a quick recap. I had an issue with the G8 a couple weeks ago. It was throwing the TPMS, the tire pressure monitoring sensor. It was having a fault code where it would show 0 for all the tire pressure. It would show a line, a dash for all 4 sensors. Now what's interesting is I just replaced the 2 rear sensors about 6 months ago. So I know they were new. And one of the front wheel sensors, I'd actually changed it about 2 years ago. So there's one that was kind of a culprit and hadn't been working properly. So long story short, I said, you know what, I'm just gonna buy 2 new front TPMS sensors. That's probably the problem. And I did, I put them on there and reset it, and it's good to go now. The TPMS is actually taken care of. Now, one thing I wanted to show you, I actually have a meter. When you set the TPMS in like a GM car, what you can do, you actually go into the programming mode, you put the key in the ignition, you turn it on, but you don't crank it, and you hold down the lock and unlock buttons on your key fob at the same time. Hold them for a couple of seconds, you'll hear the horn chirp, and what that means is it's going into this mode where it's ready to actually cycle through and tell you which wheel sensor is going to line up the pressure. So instead of doing that and going through the motion, which you normally would go to that wheel, you'd start lowering the air pressure, taking air out of the tire until it would beep, indicating that it received the signal. I got a better way of doing it. So I bought this tool, again, from Amazon. It's a VXDAS TPMS reset tool. This thing, if I remember right, it was like under 20 bucks. I want to say it was like $17 or something, really cheap. This tool sends a signal specifically for a GM type of car. And let me open this up so you can check it out. This is what it looks like here. So it does not come with a 9-volt battery, but you pop this cover on the back. Let's see if I can do it with one hand. Probably not. Yep. You put in a battery, and then when you're ready to set your TPMS, you actually go to it. I'll use my Dodge Charger here as an example. Here's your valve stem. So when the car chirps its horn, on the Pontiac, you start at the driver's front, and then passenger front, and then passenger rear, and then driver's rear. That's the sequence you have to do. So as soon as you set the key fob, you hold the lock and unlock together, and it chirps. You come out to the front wheel. You hold this. The sensor is actually going to be right in here on the GM cars because it's a long rectangular attachment that pokes through. And you push the button like so, and then the car will beep when it gets a signal. So again, you just hold it down, you point it right here at the sensor, push the button, the horn would chirp, indicating that was a signal, and then you'd go around to the other side, do the same thing, hold it to it, push the button, and away you go. So that tool works really well, under 20 bucks. It's very convenient. You have to change the air pressure in your tires and make it read. Again, you don't need it. You can actually lower the tire pressure yourself, but what a pain that is. So this is just a convenience thing, and it works great. Like I say, I think it was like 16 or 18 bucks or something like that, but it was under 20 bucks. So there you go. And here's the sensor. You can see the cable comes down in here. It plugs in the front. So I've got to unplug it and pull it out. And by the way, it is a 6mm. You do need a short extension to get to it. And then you wiggle it back and forth and pull it out. Like so. And there it is. So this is the old one here. And this is the new one. Let's take it out of the bag. Make sure we are good. It should be. And side by side look to be the same. So we will transfer our screw over to here like that. And now it's as simple as you see the holes there. We'll just slide it back into place here. Oh, of course my screw wants to pop out. Let's see if I can get. All right, now we'll get the screw restarted. So put it in our socket and put that back in there like so. The screw just keeps it tight in there. Make sure it's fully seated, and then we'll just kind of snug it up. It doesn't have to be super tight. Just snug like that. And then we'll take our connector here. Only plugs in one way. And we'll plug it back in. And now it's plugged in. So, super easy to change that out. While you're here, you'll see I've actually changed the the arms on here to make it have a little bit more traction, and actually put different springs and struts on here. These are off of they're called the FE3. I guess they're the sport ones that came on the Pontiac G8 model. Anyway, when I got my car, I had lowering springs. While it looked cool, it rode like crap, and it would bottom out every time you hit a bump. So I'm gonna throw these CTSV wheels back on it. If you're wondering, these are a 285 35 19 size tire, and I run a Michelin Pilot All Season 3 on the car. These are excellent tires, and we'll go from there, put it back on. I'll show you how the meter works. Okay, so first thing you do is you plug in the OBD port, you turn your ignition key on, and then we're going to go through here and we're going to see what kind of problems we've got, if any. So let's go to menu, and now you hit system status, which is this button in the middle on the left, and we're going to go down to where it says ABS. We're going to hit the middle button for enter. And is this your vehicle? Yes, it is a Pontiac G8. It's checking the ABS. And it had one history. See here, it says left rear wheel speed sensor had a problem. And we just changed that out. So now we're going to hit erase, which is the top left button. And do we want to erase these? The answer is yes. So it says erase was successful. So now we'll go back. Okay, now it just tested again. It said no faults were found. And it says no OBD errors detected. Okay, great. So now we will start the car up. This and go into the menu. So now you can see all my tire pressure are reading. Front left, front driver side is 38, front passenger's 35, rear passenger's 36, rear driver's 38. So apparently what that means is I need to put some air in the right side tires, a couple pounds. So I like to keep them all at 38 when they're cold, and it looks like the passenger side's a little low. So I do need to put some air in there. When I just had the TPMS sensors put in the front tires, I didn't adjust air pressure, so they might have lost a couple pounds when the guys were resetting them. So I'll put some air in those, and that should be set, which is good. And then from there, we'll go back to the main screen, which is like showing the mile per hour. But you'll notice there's no check engine lights. That light there is for the daytime running lights, which I've got that pulled so it don't actually turn those on. But if you turn this switch to the left, it turns that off. So there you go. It looks like there's no check engine lights, and we are good to go now. So anytime you raise this independent rear suspension up in the air and drop it down, it's sitting up real high in the back. So I'll show you how to lower that down. You may just back the car up a little bit and then pull it forward, and it'll lower itself back down, kind of gets it back in where it needs to be. So now it's lowered back down, it's good to go. If you're wondering what this bag is up here on the dash, this also came from Amazon. This is a dehumidifier bag. So if you ever have a lot of rainy conditions, which here in North Carolina, it's rained for what feels like 3 weeks now. I feel like I need to build a hot rod ark instead of all these cars. You can put these bags in your car and they'll absorb a lot of moisture. So if you ever get in your car and your windows are all fogged up, and no matter what you do with your defrost, it's just so much moisture in the car. It's also bad if you have cloth floor mats like I do. If you have rubber mats, it's not as bad. You can kind of wipe the water out or shake the mat out, but these carpet mats hold water and it can't go anywhere. So when you start running your floor heater, it actually turns that into vapor, and it makes the condition worse. My Explorer's the same way. That's why I noticed the problem was really bad. So what you do is you buy these bags and keep them in the car, and they absorb moisture. And what's cool is, if you can read that, it says recharge it when it goes from a blue dot to a pink dot. So you'll notice it's kind of whitish. It's starting to get a little pink. This thing had a blue tint to it right here in the middle when I first got them. It's been in the car for about 2 weeks now. We haven't driven it much. So it's absorbing the moisture that gets in here. So what I'm gonna do, they say to recharge it, you put it in a microwave, and you actually cook it for like, I think it's 30 seconds or so, till it turns blue again. And then you put it back in your car. So it's really cool stuff. So you can get them on Amazon. I think these are called the Zar packs, but it's just a dehumidifier bag. So I would recommend, if you're in a lot of moisture rich environments, you don't drive your car that much, or even if you do and you got a lot of moisture in the car, throw these in there. I've got these in all my cars now. For when you drive a lot and it's really a lot of moisture, get 2 of them, just throw them in the dash. So this is what I do. I put them up here in the dashboard like that, and it helps absorb the moisture. So just a little tip, might help you out if you're having a lot of moisture problems in your car. All the tire pressure set now, 38 all the way around. This project is done. And sooner or later, I have some updated videos about what's behind me, which is a huge concrete pad. If you're wondering, it's a 40 by 40 concrete pad. I'll talk about that more in some upcoming videos. This is the first day it hasn't rained in North Carolina, but we're supposed to get ice and freezing rain and possibly snow starting tomorrow. So till we can get a couple of days where it's not gonna rain, I can't get the next step in my project completed. So you talk about killing you when you go a whole month waiting for something to happen and you can't because of the weather. But we'll have something to talk about soon. Stay tuned.